Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. See this banana pepper plant behind me? Well, beside it was two basil plants, and I've talked about them before, but not a whole lot. And today we're going to learn how to dry basil. We've never done it before, so come along with us. Okay, so this is our first time doing basil, and we by no means are experts. So what we've done is cut our basil plants, and we're soaking them here in the sink to get any chemicals or bugs or anything else that's off of it. And since this is the first time we've done this, I had to research it on YouTube. And I have a channel that I subscribe to, and his is a video that popped up, and he's Dan Permaculture Food Forest. He has a lot of great videos, so if you ever want to know anything about gardening, go see Dan's channel, and I'll put a link in the description. So here we're just washing it off, trying to make sure everything's off of it. And we're actually going to do two steps. Dan's video, he's just drying it. We're going to hang some up to dry, and we're going to try to microwave some and see how each batch turns out. So let's move to the next step. So a lot of people just cut these off the plant to do their basil, but we've got so far behind, we've had to just pull the whole plant up. So I've got to cut all these stems up. So I'm going to do some time lapse while I'm doing that. That way you don't get bored to death. Okay, so that's the pile we're going to dry, and that's the pile we're going to hang up, or we're going to dry this in the microwave. We're going to hang this up to air dry, and that way we can just see what the difference is. So let me get this moved out of the way right here a moment. Okay, I've got that peeled off and got the excess stems cut away, and I've just got it sitting on a towel. I have patted it dry to get the excess water off, but we're going to leave it sitting here on this towel on the table for about an hour just to let it dry some more before we put it in the microwave. Okay, as part of our comparison test between air drying basil and microwaving basil, we have these hung at our breakfast nook window, so those will take a couple of days to air dry. Okay, so these basil leaves have dried, and I've got them on a microwave safe plate. So let's just stick them in the microwave. The video that I watched, and I do not remember the lady's name, she put them in for a minute and a half and then had to put them in for I believe another minute. So we're going to just try 2 minutes and see what they look like. And this is a microwave safe plate if I didn't say that. Alright, I'll bring you back in 2 minutes. So we're back. You saw us hang this on Labor Day Monday. This is now the Saturday after Labor Day. So it's taken a little bit longer to dry than what we had anticipated, but that's probably due because it's inside the house where it stays in the mid-70s and cooler. So let's see how this turned out. Okay, I've got these pulled down from the window, and these are dry, but they are not as easy to crumble as that in the microwave. So they may not be as dry as what I thought they were, or at least that was. But you can still smell the distinct basil smell. So by doing these two, I don't think we've allowed enough time for these to dry, because they are just not crunching up as good as what they need to be. And I know you can't see that, so let me move the camera back. The way they felt in the windowsill, they felt dry, but now that I've got them down here, they're not crunching as good. So Dan, if you're watching, it's not your fault, my brother. It's all me. I guess they need to air dry outside. See, some of them are crumbling up pretty good, but some of them aren't. And again, always have to remember to watch to make sure you get the stems out, or you're going to be eating the stems. See, that one crumbled up pretty good. So I guess you just have to gauge what works and what doesn't work for you. So I'm not going to bore you doing all this. I'll speed us up. So you can see I got all that crumbled up there. What I thought was dry enough after Monday through Saturday. And again, remember, it was dried inside the house, so I think that was my first mistake. And you can see this that was microwaved. You can see how much greener it is and how much more it chopped up or broke up, for the lack of a better term. Now the amounts are the different amounts. This was not near as much as what was here. So that pile is one deservedly bigger because it was more basil. But even though, see, it's still, even after I've crumpled, it is still bigger pieces. So I'm more satisfied with this microwaved than I am air dried, even though I think I made some mistakes here. Dan, I hope you watch this from Dan's Permaculture Food and tell me what I've done wrong here. But I'm going to just go ahead and throw this in the microwave and see what happens. Okay, we're back. I've microwaved this for a minute. You remember the microwave basil, we microwaved for 2 minutes. So since this was already partially dry, I just microwaved it for a minute. And yes, I did switch plates. I went to a microwave safe plate. So let's see how it crumbles up now. Yeah, see, it is much better into smaller pieces. And you may like it like that. I just know I don't. It makes me think I'm eating yard grass. So I don't like it like that. So again, I think my mistakes were drying it inside the house. And maybe I should have waited another day or two. Gotta be careful not to get the stems. So my mother-in-law actually had a basil plant at her house, so we went and picked it today, and I have it air drying outside. So now we're going to have 3 comparisons to do. That's all I'm going to do here, but again, just wanted to show you the difference between air dried and a little bit of microwave and pure microwaved. The pure microwaved looks so much fresher than the air dried. So depending on how my mother-in-law's turns out, I'm going to recommend microwaving your basil to dry it out. So I'll bring you back in a couple of days when that at my mother-in-law's is dried out. Okay, we're back, and we tried to break up the basil from my mother-in-law's that dried outside, and it was a little bit better than that dried inside the house. So if you're going to air dry, make sure you dry it outside, because I just believe maybe the air conditioning inside the house affected the drying of that I hung up inside. However, I was still 3 times as pleased with microwaving the basil versus the air drying. I don't know if it's our humidity, the temperature, the time of the year. And again, Dan, if you're watching, maybe you can comment. But moving forward, for when we dry basil, it's going to be done in a microwave. It just looks so much fresher and just crumpled up or went into the bits and pieces like you would like it in a spaghetti sauce or something like that. So I showed you two different ways, talked about the third one, and I prefer microwaving over air drying. That's just my perception and my feeling. But please feel free to try it and do it either way. I totally recommend it. And again, it's why basil is not that expensive in the store, or at least in our area. It's just the satisfaction of growing it yourself and eating something that you've raised in your own yard. So that ends this video of how to dry or how not to dry basil. Hope you like it, and stay tuned for more. Make sure to give us a thumbs up. If you're not a subscriber, subscribe to us. I appreciate all my existing subscribers as we close down to 130 hours of watch time needed before we can go into review. So if any of y'all can help me watch a playlist to whittle down that 130 hours, I'd greatly appreciate it. But until then, y'all have a blessed day and a better day tomorrow. And remember, I love you and God loves you. Take care, and we'll see you next time.